And it's hugely important. We went to court, we've won the day, and we'll see what happens from here. I think this is a feeble attempt to deflect attention, first of all, away from her response at the time, which is that Toronto should secede from Ontario, and then she slept on it and came forward the next day and said the same thing again. I stood up from the beginning and said this was being rammed down our throats in the middle of an election, that you don't change the rules in the middle of the game, and that it was unacceptable and wrong to do it in a way that didn't consult and involve the people of Toronto, of what is effective representation. And if you have wards of a certain size as opposed to a smaller or bigger size, how that impacts on people's charter rights. And that decision is one where the judge pointed out that the government failed to put forward any evidence as to why it was reasonable for them to interfere with rights to effective representation that he took as being more likely to be 61,000 as opposed to 121,000, and he in fact used the word crickets, which is an extraordinary word to see used in a decision of this kind to describe the government's case, where they didn't really put forward anything other than anecdotal evidence as to how people could cope with wards of 121,000 and how this would be in the best interests of citizens. And so that clearly puts in front of the government a test they will have to pass, assuming that if this case is not appealed, a test they will have to pass going forward, because that becomes established law for the moment until otherwise determined. I repeat what I said. I think the people of Toronto and the people of Canada hold their charter rights very dear. I think they understand the importance of those rights within the context of how we live here in our democratic system. And the notwithstanding clause was put there for very extraordinary circumstances and very extraordinary instances. And you'd have to ask yourself, why does this change, this particular change at this time, qualify as one of those? But we'll see what happens. I can't speculate on what the province will or will not do. They will make their views known, I'm sure, sometime today.